Respected dear family members, one article which appeared in the Economic Times, August 2nd, Sunday, 2015, today, about the verdict on Yakub Memon in India's constitutional system, justice has been done. This article is written by a Supreme Court advocate, Gopalakrishnan Sankaranarayanan. I thought it will be an ideal article for us to just read it and listen it, try to understand. All eyes were on the Supreme Court this week as high drama took place over the fate of 1993 Mumbai blast accused Yakub Memon. A cleavage between judges, high emotion in courtrooms, and midnight hearings in a span of 72 hours ensured that the shutterbutts and 24 hours news channels had much fodder for their reports. Despite the extensive coverage, little has been explained about the actual process followed in the Supreme Court when an issue concerning capital punishment is brought before it. As an unwritten rule, such a petition is normally converted into a criminal appeal with an extensive hearing, and then in the event of the penalty being sustained follows a review petition with an open court hearing of 30 minutes. If that is dismissed as well, matters conclude with a judicially evolved mechanism known as the curative petition, where the three senior most judges of the court participate in considering whether an exceptional oversight has led to a miscarriage of justice. Usually matters end there. Now, next paragraph. Curious case of Yakub Memon. In Memon's case, a 1000-page appeal judgment of the Supreme Court was followed by the dismissal of both the review and curative petitions. It was after the dismissal of the curative petition on July 21 that two further petitions seeking stay of the execution were entertained by the apex court. The first being dismissed on July 29 and the second in the hours of morning prior to his execution. In doing so, the Supreme Court said what could be an unusual precedent after what was constitutionally considered the last word. Even last-ditch clemency pleas were sent to the governor of the state concerned, in this case Maharashtra, and the president hoping that execution would be kept in abeyance. In quotation, if mercy petitions are filed over and over again, death warrants will never be executed, argued Attorney General Mukul Rohagi during the nocturnal hearing. It is clear that exceptional steps were taken to ensure that justice was seen to be done, but was it in fact done? With the media repeatedly drawing attention to his purported surrender to Indian authorities, Yakub's statement to the Tada court about how his infamous brother warned him against this adventure, and the revelations in the unpublished article of former research and analysis wing officers, late B. Raman, credence was given to the view that maybe Memon was undeserving of the penal court's strictest sanction. Unfortunately, this approach does great crime to a judicial system that, despite its many pressures, has delivered a verdict after examining all the relevant facts and law. Delivered a verdict After examining all the relevant facts and law, this verdict has been tested and found true on appeal, review and curative. In India's constitutional system, justice has been done, but to decide who is responsible for casting doubts on the system, one has to look elsewhere. Advocates dash, not necessarily lawyers dash. Advocates means not necessarily lawyers, for and against the death penalty, yet again mouthed platitudes about deterrence and humanity, while little attention was being paid to the harrowing emotions of those at the heart of the issue, the families of the victims and the convict. The families of the victims and the convict wore stirred pictures of the Memon's clan. A part the media played one upmanship in obtaining exclusive bites from survivors and the relatives of the blast victims. What really purpose any of this served is unclear. What it perhaps to bring into perspective the carnage that ensued on that night of March 12, 1993, or to contrast the helplessness of those who, unlike Memon, could not say their last farewells, that is 257 death took place, their last wish could not be entertained. Or maybe to bring home to a bloodthirsty public the haunted visages of Yakub's loved ones, and to show their sufferings as some solaces for the 257 lost souls in the bomb blast. Paragraph. Clearly, Joseph Stalin's words could be recalled. Stalin's words could be recalled. A single death is a tragedy. A million deaths is a statistic. A single death is a tragedy. A million deaths is a statistic. Fantastic quotation given by the Supreme Court advocate. Beyond breaking news, that is the subtitle. In an age where breaking news and exclusives are bywords for coverage, reporters are impelled to achieve the scoop. The story is king. And privacy, etiquette, sensitivity, even common sense are sacrificed at the altar of information. The story is king, and privacy, etiquette, sensitivity, even common sense are sacrificed at the altar of information. There is little time to introspect and almost none to distill the truth. In this path-breaking 1979 article, Can Television Teach? Semiotician and essayist Umberto Eco had shown remarkable prescience in saying a democratic civilization will save itself only if it makes the language of the image into a stimulus for critical reflection, not an invitation for hypnosis. Unfortunately, the miasma that has enveloped our public consciousness shows that we have paid no heed to echo words, while being so easily critical of a judicial system that has evolved, and I dare say humanely, over the decades. There is little to show that the media has similarly matured. There is little to show that media has similarly matured to lay bare the raw feelings of those affected and to show them in their weakest moments is not merely insensitive but in fact primitive. To lay bare the raw feelings of those affected and to show them in their weakest moments is not merely insensitive but in fact primitive. The writer is a Supreme Court advocate. This appeared in mobileeconomictimes.com today, that is August 2nd. I am reading it now at about 8:30 a.m. Thank you very much. This is a fantastic article, a powerful language, highly informative legal system. I just would like those who are not reading Economic Times should at least listen, understand whatever they could understand from my English pronunciation also. Thank you very much. My pranams to you.